Record Podcast Network.
So just stuff like that. You tweeted something earlier today about you're looking for new music and stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What kind of stuff are you or what were you into before? Like what kind of music were you into?
I kind of got caught in like a pocket where, like, have you ever noticed that where you're like, damn, I've been in a rotation for literally years of like, this is my playlist. I do this. I have 5 hours that I've listened to probably 100 times.
Yeah. There was a moment where I was like, when I got to an age, I was like, no more new music. I'm not fucking with. I don't care what the kids are putting out there. I got what I like and all this stuff. And then I just started listening to new music. I was like, man, their kids are onto something, dude. you know?
Dude, I was thinking the same thing of it. It was like the radio was like playing, and there was like enough of them. I'm like, man, dude, they're putting out garbage. Like,
Yeah.
and it was like one bad year I stopped listening to the radio. And like,
Yeah.
imagine the movies. Like, there's years that there's not a good movie out where it's like there isn't an iconic movie that's out, or maybe there's one, and you're just like, dude, no one's gonna be like, TV's dead, movies are dead, right? Like,
Yeah.
you just give it some time, and it's gonna come right. And I got caught in the pocket of listening to like 90s 2000s rap, Outkast, Mos Def, Kid Cudi. Like, I kind of like an indie, kind of like a little more like thoughty, verbal, like lyrical music. And I got caught in that, and naturally I have a lot of supporting like other rap genres that like has really been into it. And yeah, I just was interested. My buddy was showing me Bobby Shmurda, who's been around for a minute, and I was like, dude, I'm sleeping on like modern music. And I'm thinking, I was like, and almost like comedy. You ever listen to like comedy in like the 90s, and you're just like, oh no, it's better now, right?
Yeah.
Like now, I mean, it's better. Like, it's evolved.
Yeah.
And it had that same thing. I was like, this is better. The beats are better. The tracks are better. I mean, if you can get over like that lyrics aren't like it, like this is yeah, it's in the background. Like, it's almost it's a point, but it's not the focal point.
Yeah.
You can enjoy it better. I was being super close minded. So yeah, that early 2000s 90s rap, man, I got caught in a deadly pocket.
So now you're looking for new stuff now?
I'm looking for new stuff. I mean, I'm like, J. Cole just put out his new album and stuff. So it's like, I kind of did a big dive on J. Cole and Kendrick. That I love those guys. Yeah. And I liked them then, but I never really, they, once that line was drawn, I hadn't messed with like new albums and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I'm getting into like some of those people that they kind of like, mumble rapper. I was like, I don't want to mess with it. And now I'm starting to like listen to them. I'm like, dude, these guys are good.
Yeah.
Like Gucci Mane is way better than I thought he was. I was like, dude, how am I gonna fuck with a guy who has a snow cone with lightning bolts on his face? That's just not me. That's not me. I just don't respect it. And then now I'm just like,
it's not
okay,
that bad.
I get it.
I get
it. Then I show him next mic with the I like it, okay?
That's funny, dude. What's your favorite cover song? Do you have a favorite cover song?
Yeah, I've had this one forever. Is Lenny Kravitz's "American Woman"?
American Woman. That's a cover song.
Yeah, the first one is like some Canadian band where they did.
All I hear is the Lenny Kravitz one. What's the other one?
That's right, because nobody gives a fuck because he did it so good.
That's funny. It is a cover. You're 100% right.
I think it's like some older like 80s or 70s song or so that they did
Yeah.
it. And it's definitely like more like it's just not a rock song.
Yeah.
It's almost more like folky rock.
Yeah. It's kind of funky stuff.
Yeah.
The folk, whatever.
I remember I heard that song and I was like, and I went through a big Lenny Kravitz phase where I was like, oh yeah, like he was a well, almost sounds bad, but I was like, okay, black people fuck with rock music.
Oh yeah,
I can dig this stuff. Yeah. So he kind of stepped me into that, and then I know you were saying like, what's something that you like that maybe you don't like anymore?
Yeah.
The all Linkin Park, man. That used to be like my.
You were big into Linkin Park?
I was a huge Linkin Park fan.
Yeah.
And I have a really tough time listening to them these days.
Because
Well, there's a couple reasons. One is I saw Linkin Park at River City Rock Fest about a month before Chester killed himself.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they were terrible. Like you could in a weird way, I feel like you could tell, like in hindsight.
Really?
It was so phoned in. He played Paper Cut, and the rest, I don't want to sound bad, but it kind of sounded like a hour-long suicide note.
Damn.
I'm
really?
not kidding. And we're like, dude, the new stuff is dead. And you're looking at it and you're like, Mike Shinoda was still carrying the show. I don't even think he knew, except that like it wasn't a good show.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but because he killed himself, that has an effect on whether or not you like it.
Also, I think it was it definitely hits that like teenage angst, like
you're not in that no more.
I just don't have the like mad at existing, like like Linkin Park does have a bit of like a it's not a happy band, right? Like
but they're also just saying like the same thing. Like I think every song is like, "Shut up, I'm talking." You know?
Well, like Hybrid Theory and Meteora were like, I mean, every 15-year-old, like, man, I would say this.
They all felt that shit. Like those tracks were like, yeah, that's what I want to say too. You know, like listen to me.
In my skin. And you're like, dude, you're just breaking out in acne. It's puberty, dude.
Yeah. Nah, so you don't fuck with Linkin Park no more.
I don't.
I get that. What track? Anytime, no matter what kind of day you had, like how shitty your day was, what's something that you could put on that's gonna like fucking fix it, bring you back to happiness.
I have a lot, but it's mainly Kanye. Kanye brings me back to like a good, like positive vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, in almost every album too, he has something. But like Jesus Walk. I'm not religious, but Jesus Walks is probably my favorite rap song ever. Gospel, whatever you want to call it. And then like you can't tell me not, like these are like songs that have an energy to them.
Yeah.
That like you're like, man, this dude, when feeling it, like these are unbreakable songs, right?
Yeah.
Like they give you a little confidence. They're like body armor songs.
Yeah.
They make you feel good, right? Like total euphoric songs.
Yeah.
That's the way to say it.
We also got in a fight about the Beatles once, right? You're like, I don't see it. I don't get it.
I don't.
You got to understand.
Yeah.
Like music today is so easy to make. It's all digitals. You're not going to run out of digitals. Back then, 60s, 70s, everything was to tape. Everything had to be right, or if it was wrong, you make it sound right. You know what I mean? Like there's a beauty to that stuff. And I think when people listen to like the old music, they take out the whole techniques, engineering, the recording process. Because they can't, you don't even think about it like that, You don't realize like tape was expensive back then, Recording studios, recording sessions was expensive back then. Now people can make a fucking hit in their fucking bedroom on their laptop.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it might not be like the best sounding songs, the best sounding tracks, but they were innovative.
Yeah, I cannot argue that they're innovative and that they're a step into like the evolution of like, you're not making this stuff without looking back and been like, man, those guys, in my opinion, they wrote a formula that is like, they wrote the viral song formula.
Yes.
And like,
yes.
I mean, there's a lot of viral stuff that I don't really care for. Right. Mm-hmm. So it's like, man, they have something that is so listenable, so repeatable that, and you listen to it and it's very, it almost makes you sound like a hater. It's so simple that it's almost like it's off-putting. I want to hold your, and like one phrase, and that'll be like almost the whole song in a, and I did music a little bit, and there's 3 chords or so.
Yeah.
And then you listen to music today, and I get it. It's hard to like take live life through a lens,
Yeah.
but you're like, man, I feel like if you had those guys right now, they would not be big.
Yeah, I mean, if they were putting out like "I Want to Hold Your Hand" today, like it would not. It would not. Like everything right now is so technically like layered. Like there's so many things going on. There's switches. There's like tweaks and all this stuff. But for that time, the simplicity of it.
Was what was needed.
Yeah, I mean that's what music was.
Yeah.
Or that they invented stuff like that. Like they invented mixing a country guitar riff with fucking like
Blues
meaty
or so,
meaty
yeah.
bass and stuff, and they did stuff that they weren't supposed to do as far as like clip like the bass tones. Like, oh, it sounds too distorted. We're not allowed to do that. Like, well,
Yeah.
no, we're fucking doing it stuff. There's a documentary out right now, McCartney 321, or has Paul McCartney discussing with Rick Rubin.
Oh, I've
Just
seen. Yeah,
so good.
I've seen the clip.
It's so good, man. Like it's mind blowing. Like I have a big respect for the Beatles, but it boosted that so much. We're talking about like this was just a mistake that happened, and we kept it in, because we ran out of time, and it's just like it's their fucking hits. They're a fucking great band. Would they stand the test of time today? Like if the Beatles came out today, no. But because they were pioneers of that time, you give it a pass.
Sure.
It's still good today.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say they're I guess like the first person who invented a computer, right? Like
Yeah.
you go from nothing to something.
Yeah.
That's 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Oh, these guys are geniuses. Where now the person who invented a computer next to an iPhone, you're
Yeah.
just like, sit down, you fucking poser.
yeah.
No, it's really good.
Yeah. This was impressive one time. Like, oh well, I got this. I'm gonna take this with
You're
me.
like, dude, Elon Musk is in space.
Yeah.
He's in space.
yeah. But I think people overlook like the old like way of doing music. And
Yeah.
now it's just too easy. I mean, you can make beats on your phone.
Yeah.
Well,
and the weird thing is, I've gone through this in my head, like where like it's hard for me to like have them on a playlist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like I'm listening to Lenny Kravitz or I'm listening to whatever I might be listening to, and then Bobby Shmurda, and then go to
the Beatles.
Yeah, I'm back in the USSR, and I'm just like, okay, man, you can feel a 50-yard drop,
Yeah.
like a 50-year drop of like of technology. But then what's weird is like you get recordings of like Beethoven, and you're just like, dang, it's almost like keep it simple, stupid, like that Kiss method.
Yeah.
In music was like huge because they were writing some incredible stuff like back in like the like 1600s.
Yeah.
So it's not like for a lack of like technical ability, but for lack of like what is consumable.
Yeah.